So far I'm liking it. I think it's a great book. Hello! I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome to this week's video. I'm Kat, and I'm pretty sure the title is self-explanatory. I will be reading A Little Life today. I mean, as long as it takes to finish it. I usually do not look this glamorous when I'm at home, but I just came back from a museum and I thought that today's the day. I also think I am in a terrible mental state to be reading this book because I know I'm looking bubbly right now, but trust me, there are issues underneath the surface. Anyway, so I'm a bit concerned for myself because people who are like 20% in already reporting back that it's really heavy, so this should be interesting. I want to make lunch and start the first chapter. We'll see how it goes. I also have plans for later tonight, so this is not going to be a big segment. I don't really have any expectations from this book. I know nothing about the plot except that it's in the vibes of the secret history, which I really like. I know nothing about the author, so I'm going in completely blind. I'm pretty excited and terrified at the same time. We'll see. I just finished the first chapter, and just like I expected, that was just a character introduction. Even that introduction, even that one chapter felt a bit miserable. So far I'm liking it. I like the writing style, I like the descriptions, I like the characters. I'm having a bit of a hard time understanding the race situation, not gonna lie. It's pretty good. I think I'm gonna like this one, but I'll see you in the next clip. I'm a bit into the chapter 2 currently, and I just wanted to pause and make a note that I love how she talks about the artist life. It really reminded me how I felt about Just Kids by Patti Smith. I love that book. It just always warms my heart up when people who write books about artistic characters can actually express that properly instead of just saying that, oh, you know, he likes to paint and that's like his quirky trait, but like they actually instead explain how it makes them feel, and it just makes me feel seen, even though I'm not on that level. I'm literally on the page 112 out of 800 and a half, and I'm already like close to crying. I love when people feel, and it's so, I don't know, maybe I just see myself too much in this particular character, but you know what? I also realized that I'm liking this book so far because it reminds me of another one that I liked. It's actually one of my favorite books again. I'm pretty sure in English it's called The Grey House, and the dynamic really reminds me of that book. Though I've read it quite a few years ago, so maybe I'm off, but the vibes are the same. I'm so used to the novels taking place in the short timeline that it takes me quite a minute to realize that there are literal years going by in this one. I guess that's why the title is what it is. It's been a while since I gave an update. I'm around 1/3 into the book. So far, it's actually not as bad as I expected. It's just I'm having a hard time because there are topics that are hitting way too close to the sun. I hope that anybody who reads this book, they have so much empathy for Jude. I just see myself so much in how the main character feels and about him being worried that everybody's gonna leave them when they find out who he really is. He's very depressed. So, but I was also crying before because there was such a happy scene. I was just happy to read that. So there were tears, but they were happy tears. Pause this or skip a little bit ahead. Maybe this is gonna be a spoiler, but I kind of have a feeling at this point that Jude is gonna die. He's gonna kill himself. So I'm mentally prepping for this. I also want to say that I'm not really interested in knowing what happened to him when he was a kid. Not because, it wouldn't be an interesting story, but because I kind of feel disrespectful to him because throughout the book he makes such a big point of not talking about it, hiding it, growing away from it. I just feel like if I know it, I'll be invading like something that I'm not supposed to know that. So far I'm loving it. Because what the actual fuck is that? Okay, so it's been a couple of days since the last clip, and I just came back from reading in the park, and I had to come back because it started getting really bad in the book, and it's too much. And I think I'm literally like halfway through it, and skip like 10 seconds to avoid the spoiler, but Jude just got into a toxic violent relationship, and I can't handle it. I think he's been through so much. He deserves a little bit of happiness. I understand that his choices are, psychologically wired. He genuinely, I don't think, could have chosen anything else. It makes it so painful to read that I just had to come back home and I need to find something light and whimsical or something, like a beach read, because this is genuinely, it's not good for my mental health. I should not be reading it when I'm reading it. I don't know, I guess I just have to push through it, but it's so hard. It's hard because I can't cry in the park, but that would be very questionable. Oh my god. Anyway, that's my update for now. See you later. I can't tell if something bad is going to happen again. I literally feel like I'm about to throw up. This is so disgusting. Some adults should never exist. Okay, so it's actually been a couple of days since the last clip, so I'm just here to say that I've been going out to the park a lot just to not be depressed in my room with this book, but I'm really happy that finally some positive development is happening, and I hope it continues, though I know probably it won't. That's my update. I'm feeling like this is a breath of fresh air happening, and I just desperately want it to last. Hey there! I just came back from the book club discussion, and I think I'm ready to wrap up this video. It's not gonna be like a full-on review of the book, because the point was to just film the stages of reading it. But long story short, it was obviously a big hit. We had very different opinions on whether it was too much, too little. Some people found it quite boring. Basically, just like not even a spectrum, but like very polar opposite opinions, which I think very much correlates to whatever you can read online. Your opinion will heavily depend on whether you relate to the main character or not, but also like whether you actually enjoy emotional plot type of books. Because what we found through the discussion is that some people who didn't like the book as much, they just like more action going on. I personally do like the books where you are in the head of the character, and I also found it very helpful to reflect on my own behaviors, let's say. It was, for me, a very double-edged sword, because on one hand it was definitely very traumatic and not healthy for me to relive all the things that happened, but on the other hand it definitely helped to see his thought process, because I was able to notice the same things happening to me and being like, oh, this is not okay, maybe I should work on that. So really depends on how you approach it, I guess. But other than that, I think it's a great book. That was definitely one of my all-time favorites. It changed my perspective on life. I think the plot is great. Again, there's not much is happening physically, but I do like more emotional plots. So for me, it was great. I do love the style of writing that's similar to Donna Tartt's. So this was definitely a big hit for me. I love me a long sentence. I love me a long description. I can eat it up every day. For me, it was definitely like a 10 out of 10 book. I would say even 11. Yeah, the only thing I didn't like is that I think the last 2 chapters could have been 1, because the ending was really dragged on. Like it dragged forever for me. In conclusion, I would say yet again that the world would be a much better place if everyone read that book, but it's definitely not for everyone. I know it's confusing, but you do need to be at least a little bit mentally stable and have some, logic in you, I guess. Because there's such a big discussion about it online, that there are like obviously heavy topics and everything, but they kind of make it seem a lot worse than it actually is. I kind of expected there would be like 5 pages of trigger warnings and stuff, but it really isn't. I don't think the book is as bad as some people make it out online. It's definitely heavy, and it's definitely gonna be the worst read ever for someone who went through the same thing that the main character. I'm really trying not to give you spoilers, but for now, that's all I have to say. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a good cry. I hope you had a good time. I hope you found what you were looking for, the answer to the question if to read the book or not. Or maybe you just enjoy watching people cry, so maybe check on that. Anyway, that's it for today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!